everyone, myself is Sagar. Welcome back to another video. We are solving SQL 50 in the Leetcode. Welcome back to another video as we are doing SQL 50 questions which is widely asked in interviews. So far we have done the 7 questions. Now we'll be moving on to the next set of the questions, that is customer who visited but did not make any transactions. Okay, let's see what's the question and we'll try to understand it and then we'll find the solution for that. What it says, we have a table called visits, okay, and it has a columns as visit ID and customer ID. So it says visit ID is a column with a unique value for this table. So unique is nothing but is a primary key for this table. So that means there is no duplicates and there is no null. The table contains the information of the customer who visited the mall. Okay, so there is a mall where the customers visit. So these are the information where whenever the customer visit to that mall, there is one visit ID that has been noted down. Okay, there is another table called transactions. Okay, so it says that for transaction table we have transaction ID, visit ID, and amount. Okay, has done some transaction. So that means in transaction ID is a unique values for this table. So that means anytime the transaction is done, there is one transaction ID we are going to get. So this table takes the information of all the transaction that has made for that particular visit ID. So if it has a customer visited and did the transaction, at that time we are going to get this transaction ID. Okay, so let's see what's the question. Write a solution to find the IDs of the user who visited without any transactions and the number of times they made this type of visits. Okay, what they're saying is the customer visited the mall, but he did not do any transaction. We have to find out how many times he visited the mall and did not do any transaction. So I hope you got the question what we have to do. And what it says, return the result set in any order. So in any order is there. So that means we are not going to worry about any sorting techniques here. Okay, so let's see the data, how it is. So we have inputs, table as visits. So we have visit ID every time and we say customer. So you can see here one customer, that is 54, 54, 54. That means in this table, we might have a single customer visiting multiple times to the mall. Okay, he's very free, I guess. So that's why he's visiting a lot of times. Okay, so then what he does after visiting a mall, so he's doing a transaction. That means now here there is no customer ID because it is related to, these two tables are related based on what? Visit ID. So we have to link. Now this is a clear condition where we have to join these two tables by based on the single column. The same column is nothing but visit ID. These are the two common columns between the two tables which we can use for joining the tables. Okay, so now let's see what we have here. So transaction ID we have for two, visit ID is 5. That means when the customer visited at the 54 customer, visit ID of 5, he has done some transaction, he has purchased. Next, for transaction ID 3, again 5, again some transaction. So that means the same customer, when he visited at the visit ID at the particular time of his visit ID, he has done one more transaction. And again, you can see they has done one more transaction. Now transaction ID 12 for visit ID 1. That means 23. The customer ID 23rd, he has visited and he has done the transaction. Next is visit ID 2, 2 and 13, and that is customer ID 9. So he has done some transaction. So this is the output. Now that means 54 has visited 2 more times, but he don't do any transaction. So we need to get these two counts. And the customer 30, he visited at 4, but I don't see any transaction is done. So we need that one count. And also 96, when he visited, he has not done any transaction. We need that one. So it's a clear case of left join where we need to do the left join of these two tables. And we need to fetch what? The time which he has visited and not done any transaction. So we got where condition is transaction is null. We have to find out. So let's go to the Excel and see when we join these two tables, what will be the outcome. So when I took this both Excel here, so what I do, let me take this both customer visit and ID here, and we are having a transaction ID. So from this, I'm interested on this particular column of this transaction, we'll see that. Now we are doing left join. Let's consider we are doing left join. So this is the first table and this is the second table. Based on what we are doing based on visit ID. So for 1, we have any visit ID? Yeah, we have 1. So matching. So let's take this copy and we paste it here. So what is the transaction ID? That is 12. So let me note it down here. When visit ID is 2, do we have another? Okay, we have another transaction made. So let's copy this and we paste it here, and this is the transaction ID we have. Now next, for 4, do we have any transaction visit ID here? No. So what we do, I'll take this, and now there is no transaction. So we have to do what? It will be null. Since it doesn't not find any matching records from here, so it will go as null. Okay. Now 5. Okay. We see here 3 different visits, right? Visit ID 555. Now for 5, when it matches, transaction was 2 for first, 3 for second, and 9. That's what I'm saying. These 3 I had put here. Now next, there is any more matching, so we'll move on. So next, what happens? Visit ID 5 is over 6. For 6, is there anything? Nothing. So what will come? Null. It will come here, null. Now when 7, again there is nothing. So what it will come? Null. Okay. Now 8, what it will come? It will come as null. So now you can see here. So this is output when we do left join based on visit ID. Now, in that, what I need when he has visited and not done any transaction, how many times? So I can see here, this is one null for particular customer ID 30. Now count is what? 1. For 96, there is 1. Now we have 2 here. So 254. So 2 times he has not done any transaction. That means what? We have to do group by. Okay. Group by what? Customer ID. We have to do the group by customer ID. And what will be our where condition? That is transaction ID is null. So, and what we need to fetch? Count of this. What we have to fetch? The count of visit. I mean count of visit when it is null. So for this 54, this is one count. For 54, this is another one count and null. So what we have to do? Visit count. Okay. Visit count. Got it, right? So let's go and solve in the SQL and we'll understand the query. Okay. Now what we need, select. Obviously, we need customer ID. Since we are doing group by, that whatever we do in the group by, that should be called as a column. So it is coming from what? Visits, right? So let's take our first table, that is visits. We have what? Visits is our first table. So let's make it as visits V, and left join. We always go for left join most of the time, right? So let's make use of left join. Transaction T. We are making transaction T as a alias. So where this customer is coming from? Visits table, right? So we'll do T dot visit. Now, comma. Now what I had said here. So we need visit, count of visit, right? So that's what we do. So we say we take this visit ID, V dot visit ID. We need this count. Count of this need as what we need, that count of transaction, number of transactions. So now we joined these two, but we did not pass any what? Matching condition, right? We need to give some matching condition, that is on condition. Now on what? Visit ID, that is V dot visit ID equal to T dot visit ID. That is from transaction you take visit ID, from visits you take visit ID, and you do what? Matching here. So now we got this. Now what I said here is what we need to do. We need to do transaction is null. Transaction ID is null, right? That's why we need to do what? Where condition. Where is transaction? Where transaction is coming from? Transaction table is coming. So T dot transaction ID is null. Now, to run this, there will be an error because why? We are making use of some aggregation, right? We need to group by also. So we say group by. What we are doing group by? We are doing group by V dot customer. So that's it. So let's run our code and see what is we have to get out. Okay, there is some error near right syntax. Okay, let me check what. Okay, I missed the from condition, right? From table we have to take. Okay, there's a slight mistake in the syntax. Okay, let's see what will be the use case. Yeah, see, it has accepted. So we got what? The number of counts for 30. That is what I had said right here. So for 30, a customer ID 30, that is one count. For customer ID 96, there is one null. That's the count. And for 254, that is two counts. That's what we got. I hope you understood this question. So we'll continue this series. I do practice more. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Thank you for being till the last. See you in the next video. Thank you.